Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Black Panther, starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Danae Gurira, forgive me if I said that wrong, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, Forest Whitaker, Angela Bassett, and Andy Serkis, directed by Ryan Coogler. Now before I get into this review, I just have to confess this right now. I've seen two movies from Ryan Coogler, the director of this movie. One of them is Creed. That's one I'm going to be doing later this year for the Rocky series. And the other one is Fruitvale Station. I thought about reviewing it, but I'm not going to try. I mean, we'll see if there's another incident and makes a movie about that. So, we'll see how that goes. But let's just get right into this movie, because I am so excited about Infinity War. Moving on. We open the movie with a flashback of King T'Chaka, returned by John Candy from Captain America Civil War, killing a man who was T'Chaka's brother, who is the father of the character being grown up as Michael B. Jordan's character in Oakland, California. It makes me sad that a kid that age is an orphan, but I do like the scene. Years later, after the events in Captain America, well, maybe not years later, but like a day or two later, something like that, after the events in Captain America Civil War, T'Challa, returned by Chadwick Boseman, fights off some village warriors and rescues everyone captured with Okoye, played by Danae Gurira. And I like her as a character. She's such a great badass in this movie. I also really like T'Challa as a character about to be king because of his father's death in Captain America Civil War. And he grows on me as a character. I like him in this movie. There are more characters getting introduced. Nakia, played by Lupita Nyong'o from 12 Years a Slave. And I've reviewed her before in Star Wars, of course. And every time I look at her skin, and I'm not trying to be racist, I just want to be honest. Not the color, but the skin. I'm always afraid because she's from Africa, something graphic is going to happen to her. And I do like the character, and I do like Lupita Nyong'o, don't get me wrong, it's just... I'm always concerned for her. For everywhere that I've seen her on, for example. Another character introduced is Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, who's T'Challa's sister and is jealous of her brother to become king. And she's a tech genius. And I like that character. She's one of the good ones for me. And the last one we get introduced is Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, who's T'Challa's mother. And I'm okay with Miss Bassett trading over from DC to Marvel because she's better here as a character than in Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. While T'Challa becomes king, we get introduced to Zuri, played by Forest Whitaker, who I always admire him as an actor and as a character in this movie. And W'Kabi, played by Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out from last year. And I like his character in the fact that he can use an accent. Isn't the guy from England? Because he uses an African accent, but I don't think he's from... I think he's from England, if I'm not mistaken. And T'Challa getting challenged by M'Baku, played by Winston Duke. And when I first saw this movie, I thought not only do I like the characters, but I love the way how Wakanda looks. The cinematography is just gorgeous. Like, it was neat to see on an IMAX theater, by the way. And I'll get to this in a minute. I also like all the characters in the movie, and I love the way how Wakanda looks, excuse me. And before I go on to the next page, I've seen this movie 3 times. The first time was in IMAX, and I remember how amazing that movie looked. That this movie looked in IMAX. It was neat. We get introduced to an adult version of Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, who's stealing a piece of Wakanda stone with Ulysses Claw, returned by Andy Serkis from Avengers Age of Ultron. I do like Claw back, but Michael B. Jordan's presence in this movie is shining like Chadwick Boseman. By the way, we met the younger version of Michael B. Jordan's character at the beginning on the very first scene, I might add. The Black Panther suit looks very cool, and I really enjoy how he uses it in South Korea, because because our because a returning character, Everett Ross, returned by Martin Freeman, is here to buy the missing Wakanda piece from Claw, and Claw versus Black Panther, where Black Panther takes off the wheel and the car Claw is in, and almost kills Claw, but instead leaves him to the CIA and Ross. And before I get to Ross getting to interrogate him, I just gotta say, the Stan Lee cameo where he says, "I think I'll keep the savings right here, where it's safe." It was kind of a weird cameo, but I mean, the thing is, he talked a little too much in that scene, I might add. But I like the cameo, though. It's just, it was the wrong lines for him. And Ross, to interrogate him until, and by him I mean Claw, until Killmonger crashes it and escapes with Claw, and Black Panther getting shocked by a gun Killmonger shot him with. And I really like the action in this movie. There was some cool stuff. Even Tony Stark can't even make. I'm curious to know if they bring that up in Infinity War. Killmonger kills off Claw and brings the dead body to the Wakanda people and challenges T'Challa, to the throne after he reveals they're cousins, and tells T'Challa how his father killed his brothers in the opening scene. And the fight between T'Challa and Killmonger was a brutal battle, by the way, folks. I mean, it was spectacular, but it was just so brutal that I didn't want Black Panther to die in this movie, because he's such a good character, and he's in next week's movie. With desperation to help from M'Baku to heal T'Challa, Shuri, Makia, and Ramonda, with Ross find M'Baku, found T'Challa, and they gain respect for each other and fight together against Killmonger, was such a powerful moment of the film. He does almost refuse, but then they decided, you know what, let's just fight for him. He's our king. Well, not maybe our king, but like, he's a friend. I'll say that much. I like the final battle between T'Challa and his men and Killmonger and his men, with Ross flying a big plane and shooting down Killmonger's men. And the final battle between T'Challa and Killmonger was with an invisible train taking their powers away. And that was pretty cool. But my question is, how can they survive that? It can kill you badly. Killmonger talks about the sunrise on Wakanda being absolutely beautiful, and his dad will show him one day. That's what I love about this movie. It has honor, and I admire that. I do that for him. T'Challa goes to the United Nations once the credits roll in Vienna, Austria, talking about how people should treat each other during the credits, and that scene is honorable as far as how people should treat each other, especially if we're living under a president that is very, I don't want to say disrespectful, but wants to build a wall. And yeah, I'm not going to get into that now. The after credits scene is Bucky Barnes returned by Sebastian Stan waking up and being called the White Wolf, and Shuri teaching Bucky how the world works, leading up to Infinity War. And I really enjoyed that scene. It's a great way to set up for Infinity War. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 9.3 out of 10. This is by far the best Marvel film yet to date with Avengers 1, and I'm looking forward to how Chadwick Boseman plays the character in the future movies starting next week with Infinity War. I'm so excited! And this movie has a lot of honor into it, too. I must confess that, too. I was really happy with the way how honorable it is. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Avengers Infinity War. And until next time, Avengers Assemble!